Yo, what's up, everybody? All right, so we're back with another live, and this one we're going to be talking about Peacemaker because, this is a show that's honestly this is just disgusting. Um, I'm not watching this show, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Just seeing the clips and everything that they're uploading, like HBO Max, and what's leaking out there and what people are putting out there on the internet. Like this is a straight up, it's just disgusting. you know, DC has become a brand that it's embarrassing, and as a fan, like honestly, I'm just not interested. I'm just not excited. What's up, Ronaldo? It's gotten to the point where it's a little bit too much out of control in the sense of like how they kicked off with the season of an orgy at the beginning. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it just completely confuses me on how everything how this DCU reboot, quote unquote, retcon, whatever the hell they want to call it now, has been going, and how it's performing. I get it. Some of you fans like that raunchiness, silliness. I don't know. I really don't know. Um, it's no, I'm not being over dramatic, bro. I'm telling you right now. Explain to me. I'm gonna tell you right now. All right, you support James Gunn. I get it, Ronaldo. Now let me ask you, why is it okay for that orgy scene? Explain to us. Why is it okay for the orgy scene? Huh? Tell me. And why is it okay for now on this recent episode? And don't come at me because of the comics. It's because they could go a different route. But why they gotta put that though? And how come now in this new episode they put Lex Luthor, and like straight up everything that James Gunn does raunchiness, his jokes are always completely pushed over the limit. Why are you guys okay with that? Like that's what I'm gonna hammer on for today. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna say how it is. I don't care. It's disgusting, it's vile, it's sickening, and like these are the type of disgusting fans that are okay with it. These are all the sickles that Peacemaker and James Gunn attracts. You cannot be mentally stable and be okay with that. And then that episode where you see the kid looking out of the window and the lady flashes the guy, yo, come on. Why are you guys okay with that? Get out of here. I don't want to hear no excuses. You can't justify that. That's sick. That's disgusting. That's vile. What type of sick, twisted subliminal messages are being sent? There's no way that you can justify that. You just can't. I've seen enough of this garbage. And now that they put, come on, yo, like, there's no need. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's disgusting because how are you going to put, that disgusting symbol? I'm not gonna say what it is. We all know. It starts with the N. You get what I'm saying? And yo, how you gonna put that symbol on the American flag? You just don't do that. Look, I don't talk about politics, but don't disrespect that. I'm telling you straight up, you don't. And what they're turning this show is low key, again, subliminal with all of these messages. It's it's pushing an agenda. I don't care what you tell me. That's what it's pushing. They're trying to push, that whole thing with the lady because of the race and this and that. Yo, it's disgusting, disgusting. Even like it's just there shouldn't be no place of that allowed in what they're doing with the show. The show is disgusting. I'm telling you, it's completely disgusting. I don't have to watch it to know how bad it is. Just seeing what people are posting, that enough is just completely like I get it. It's a different dimension. I get it. But why does he have to choose that disgusting dimension? Tell me that. He could go with so many different dimensions. That's all okay. That's okay. That's what pisses me off as a fan. How do you allow and you're okay with, yo, let's do whatever the hell we want with Peacemaker, right? What's next? What's next? How much does the boundaries have to keep getting pushed? But it was a fucking problem when Zack Snyder was there. It was a fucking problem when David Ayer were there, right? That was a fucking problem. You see what I'm saying? Why? Why is that a problem? But it's not a problem with James Gunn being so disgusting, so vile, because he's pushing an agenda. That's why he's pushing all type of narratives. He's trying to push all these low key subliminal messages that are in plain sight. If you don't see that, you're blind as fuck. I'm telling you straight up. I'm telling you straight up. You have to be blind as fuck to see what the message is that they're trying to push. But then they go ahead and hide it as, oh, it's another timeline. Oh, it's a variant. Oh, it's a, yo. You don't have to justify bullshit to try to send out the message you're trying to tell us. You know when people say, "Oh, with comedy, they tell you reality." If somebody comes up to you and offends you, but then they like ha ha ha, they offend you, but just because they put the LOL and oh, like they try to soften and butter you up and say, "Oh, like I didn't really mean it, but it was just a joke." No, you already told me the reality through the joke. And it just breaks my mind, and I'm like, yo, what the hell has this company really become? And I'm aware that it's a different dimension. I'm truly aware of that. But why with the racism, right? Why with that? You get what I'm saying? Why with the raunchiness? Why with the explicit of everything? Why is that okay? But it was a fucking problem when Zack Snyder was there, and he was doing what he had to do with these characters, that he actually took these characters serious. But James Gunn's wiping his ass with these characters, and that's where I have a problem with. You get what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you could do whatever the hell you want, and you're literally choosing these stupid paths that you're doing. It's who and what James Gunn is, you know? And everything that he puts out, it's always the same. And now he has more freedom because, of course, Disney's not on him. So he's gonna go ahead and keep on doing these disgusting type of things in this show, and it's only gonna keep on getting worse in the sense of, you think that he pushed it on the last one. I'm just waiting for when he does what he's known for. Like low key trying to normalize it. You know what I'm trying to talk about, and it's just disgusting. This brand DC has fallen so bad, and it's like the sickles are the ones that are liking it. The sick, mentally ill fans, fake fans, are the ones that are eating this up. They're gobbling it up. Honestly, they're eating off of that bowl of diarrhea, and while they're eating, it's all messy. They want to continue to eat more, and it's sickening. This has gotten to a point where it's sickening. And I say this because I'm literally scrolling through my feed, and the video popped up, and I'm like, yo, th- like I just felt that it needs to be talked about, because honestly, like this is just vile, man. Like, and it's okay. It's okay. Like, these fake fans are okay with this. This is what they're trying to push. They're trying to normalize. In other words, they're just trying to desensitize people to the entertainment of today, because they know people are like zombies. They're stuck on their phones. They'll eat up stupidity, and that's what's selling, unfortunately. We already saw the cameo of Lex Luthor showing up in Peacemaker. If you haven't seen it, oops, I spoiled it for you. Too fucking bad. Superman's about to appear. Like we've been seeing images. I saw an image right now. He's with Peacemaker. I guess he's in a different costume or whatnot. And you see Superman, David Cornsweat, literally on set that they're filming by some tanks and stuff. Let me ask you a question. Check this out, because I'm the general audience right now. I'm looking at it from the general audience perspective as a fan. Just not a fan of what James Gunn is doing. How, if you just had Superman, that's supposed to be a quote unquote family movie, right? Now he's jumping into James Gunn with Peacemaker, which I know it still takes place in the same fucking universe, which it shouldn't, because Peacemaker is literally from the DCEU, not the DCU. And then James Gunn's just trying to pick and choose. How come this Superman now is about to like enter this, I guess, whatever the fuck they're doing, like with pocket dimension? I don't care what they're doing. Why, if that's a family type of movie, is it crossing and making a cameo? And I get that they're still connected, but why into this type of show? If this show is what it's promoting, it's promoting racism. I'm telling you straight up. That's what the fuck Peacemaker is promoting, low key. It's promoting, like that whole thing with the flag. If you haven't seen it, it's vile. It's disgusting. Like, look, real world is fucked up as it is right now. I don't need to be watching shows and movies and comics and video games of things that are happening around the world right now. I don't. I watch these things, and majority of us watch it to be entertained, not to be like, damn, you know what? This is exactly what's going on in this part of the world. You know what's going on? This is what's really going on in our political, environment all over the world. Or this is what, our environment is going. No, no. I watch these movies because I want to forget about real life. If I want to see these real life situations, I just turn on the news and I watch that. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to like low key desensitize viewers to just watch this trash. And what really drives my mind out, like what really completely grinds my gears is like They're okay with promoting all that trash. And then you have these fake fans, and I say, let me emphasize that you have these fake fans that are okay, and they're like, "Oh yeah, James Gunn is cooking. Oh, this is the best thing. Oh yeah, this is great. This is the best thing." Really? A freaking orgy is the best thing? The nasty raunchiness that they're putting out, that's okay. But when Zack Snyder was trying to make his movies since the beginning, Batman versus Superman, that was the second one, R rated. Oh no, fucking Warner Brothers. Oh no, we can't allow that. We can't allow that. We can't let that go. We can't let it go because then the backlash. Oh fuck me, then the backlash back then, right? We're talking about over what, 11 years ago, 10 years ago. That was a problem back then. Oh, but if it doesn't make $1 billion or close to it, then the movie flops, right? Hold on. Batman versus Superman made money at the box office over 800 what 800 something million, and but it's okay for James Gunn to make the budget back and a little on top, and of course, like somebody said earlier, add the budget to the marketing. So where's the money? They haven't made profit. Everything has gone back into production and back into marketing. So where's the profit? 25 million? If 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 see what I'm saying? But how come when Zach was doing his thing, oh no, we can't do that. But then James Gunn, he's allowed to do whatever the hell he wants, how he wants, as many times as he wants. Shit is so fucked up in the DC right now. It's completely like a hurricane came in and just completely destroyed everything. Everything is all over the place. That's why I'm looking forward to this buyout. We need another company to come and buy out Warner Brothers. And James Gunn fans know that the moment that this company is sold, their shit is over. They know it. They know that this is going to be over. James Gunn regime is coming to an end ASAP. Those days are numbered. The DCU is coming to an end faster than they even know. This is why he's trying to go ahead and greenlight and trying to rush. Oh, Superman saga. Oh, we're gonna try to push it out ASAP. Oh, this and that. He's giving priority to all that bullshit, and that's the problem. How come when Zack Snyder had an actual fucking plan, WB kept on getting in the way? When David Ayer had a plan, WB got in the way. Oh, but when James Gunn has a plan, WB's they don't say shit. How come? Favoritism, right? That's what I fucking see. As a fan, customer, and consumer, that's what I see. I see fucking favoritism. And I don't like that shit. I really don't. How come James Gunn gets to do whatever the fuck he wants, how he wants, and he doesn't get nothing off of it in the sense of there's no studio interference. But the moment Zack Snyder wanted to connect this character, he wanted to connect this universe, he wanted this director, he wanted this and that. Oh, we have a problem. The same thing with David Ayer. Oh, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. But the moment James Gunn steps foot into DC, oh, here you go. Everybody bend two knees and start glazing James Gunn because he's the director of Guardians of the fucking Galaxy, right? That's okay. I just can't stand it, honestly. Like, I've lost interest, and every time I lose more and more interest in what DC has become, honestly. And it's just nuts. It's nuts, you know? That's why I can't wait for this shitty company to get bought out by somebody else. And now that the rumors going around that it looks like Paramount's gonna probably back off because of I guess something's going on with money problems and stuff. Um it's all coming down to Netflix and Comcast. And I'm telling you how I've been saying it for a while. I think in the end, Comcast is, or if not, has already acquired some part of WB. I'm speculating. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just speculating because why would they be coming into play for next year to help HBO Max with their streaming service? And I know somebody mentioned that. I didn't know. I didn't know. Somebody pointed out last time that Comcast owns Peacock. I didn't think about Peacock. Who the fuck owns and has Peacock? Who? Seriously. Who's here like, yo, I'm a subscriber of Peacock. Not me. We don't see that. Like it's not as popular. You get what I'm saying? Like we know HBO Max, we know Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Netflix. These are the big ones. Apple and Amazon. But Peacock, like, fuck, to me it's a joke. You get what I'm saying? Like they barely have anything in there. So what I'm thinking is, let's just speculate on this on this topic real quick. I know I'm bouncing back and forth and stuff like that, but let's just say, right? Let's just speculate that Comcast is only interested in HBO Max. All right, cool. But what else can they do with that? They can do so much from it, you know? What if low key they just want to buy out the DC brand overall? They can do a whole bunch of things. This is why I've been telling you that rumor that I've been talking about. And I'm gonna keep on talking about it and bringing it up. I notice a lot of people are not talking about that, even though the big channels are not. But don't sleep. Why would Comcast ask HBO Max specifically for Zack Snyder and David Ayer for DC alternative content? That's interesting. That's interesting. Why would they? And then we already know that in January they're gonna be working together. So what could be cooking behind the doors that we don't know? Could they be working an agreement? Could they be working out something, financially? Yeah. Maybe offers have been, somewhat out there, but they're keeping it private right now until it's time to go public and then they can say it. I don't know. I don't know. That's the part. It's completely it's nuts. Yeah, exactly. I get what you're talking about, Knight. It's crazy. It's like that's exactly who he is. One trick pony. It's disgusting. He gets to promote all of that disgusting message because that's how I see it. He's just pushing all those messages and all those disgusting agendas. And low key, that's what he's doing. He's not talking and saying it. He doesn't have to. He can go ahead and just throw it like he's doing it right now, subliminal through the show. Let's not forget what Joker said in 2019 when he told Murray, "Isn't comedy subjective? So if you could be straightforward and offend and tell somebody how you feel through comedy, and we know it's true. Let's put our differences to the side right now. All right. If somebody cracks a joke, you go to a comedy club or you're watching a comedy stand up, whatever. These stand up comedians, they're all out. They raw dog it and they just tell you straight up, hey, this is the joke. Most of the time is always the funniest ones are the ones that, are disrespectful, insulting and stuff like that. We laugh at it. We have a sense of humor. Now, if you take that to heart and you get hurt by it, you have no sense of humor. You're looking at it from the wrong point of view because you're looking at comedy, you're listening to comedy, and you're getting offended by it. Something is wrong with you. And the same thing applies to this. If we're watching this show or that show and they're straight up throwing these messages low key in your face without you realizing and waking up and saying, "Damn, hold on, this is not a show. Yes, it's a show, but the message that they're trying to send the audience, what's that message? It's completely, it's it's more than explicit. It's extremely hardcore, and that's where I have a problem with as a fan. I know many of you do too. It's like how is it okay for James Gunn? Who's approving all of this? Like that's what I want to know. James Gunn brings it up. Is David Zaslav just signing off and saying, "Hey, that sounds like a great idea. Yeah, go for it. Let's go for it." What's next? Is he gonna have, like I don't even want to say it, but damn, you get what I'm saying? It just crosses the line every time more and more. And I just scratch my head and I'm like, what the hell does this have to do with what we're watching? And they try to connect it low key, try to connect it just so it could be like, oh, it's canon. It's all connected. Oh, it's another dimension. Hold on. I take it as you're bullshitting me. You're just trying to push your message. You're trying to get your agenda out there of whatever it is you're trying to do through the show. And I'm like, you're more focused on that and trying to bring that message than what you are with the show. And don't get me, look, honestly, cameos don't mean shit. They didn't mean shit to me when I saw the DCEU. They didn't mean shit when the Hamadaverse, and they don't mean shit now. And it doesn't mean anything, honestly. Cameos are just cameos. That's it. Most of the time, cameos are just bullshit, unnecessary clout, if you want to say. Because look at what we saw with the Penguin. A whole show, a whole season, right? And at the end, what we got 3 seconds of the fucking bat signal. Where has this motherfucker been at? Like literally, all this shit went down. Where the fuck has Batman been at during the whole show? That's my question. You get what I'm saying? So what's the deal? Like cameos are sometimes unnecessary, and and it's true. Look, I saw Aaron's video, and then he even brings it up too. That James Gunn has said that he was never going to do cameo porn. And that's what he's doing. He's exactly doing that. Like every single time James Gunn, all he does is contradict and prove otherwise. That's why I don't take James Gunn serious as a director. I don't. As a fan, I don't take him serious at all. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's different. That's Marvel. That's a whole different, like you can't compare both of them. You just can't. Same shitty director, but two different works of his. And I gotta say, I don't like James Gunn in the sense of his directing and creative side of the stories. What he did with Guardians of the Galaxy, that's who James Gunn is. He's good at that. He's good at that over there at Marvel. But here at DC, since day one, it's just been a mess and it keeps on getting worse. And that's what these studios need to realize. They need to wake up and be like, yo, like, I just don't get it, like, honestly. Um, it just gets, it just doesn't, it doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't. No, like, look, Reynaldo, I'm gonna put you out there since you keep on calling me out. Look, I get it. We don't have to agree. That's fine. But you can't call me a fake fan because I don't like James Gunn's DCU. But it's okay for you and all your James Gunn cultist fan base, right? You fake fans because you are fake. You eat this shit up like if it's candy. You eat it up. That's the problem. And it's because of fans like you that this industry is down the drain. You can't let that happen, but you guys are letting it happen. Because, oh, it's okay. What's next? What's next? James Gunn's gonna put an animal having an orgy scene included also? See how disgusting that is? If you're okay with that, you have a problem. Anybody that's okay with that, you have problems. Like real talk. Because it shouldn't be like that. We're talking about characters that are like, yo, these are gods. These are like characters that who they've always been. Superman is a joke now. Superman is a fucking joke. And it's okay, right? That's what I don't get. It's like how can you be okay with that? You know? Like I just don't comprehend that. It's and it's not about licensing. It's not about licensing. They own the license to these IPs. They own all these characters. Now, if you're talking about TVs and movies, that's different. You get what I'm saying? Like Disney and stuff like that. Like they can't do certain things with Spider Man just because of the license. That's a whole different story. But we're talking about DC. DC owns all their characters. They have the license to all their characters. Now, them doing what they're doing now, starting to connect. Oh, okay, they have this dude David Cornsweet appearing finally in Peacemaker, and the dude that's playing Lex Luthor. Like they're doing what Zack Snyder originally wanted to do with that Arkham Asylum, a spin-off, but then Matt Reeves came in and pretty much stole the idea, right? They couldn't do it when Zack was there, right? Why is it that whenever it's with Zack Snyder related, it's always a fucking problem? Why? You James Gunn cultists always have a fucking problem when it comes to. Is it the quality that hurts y'all? Is it the quality that you guys wish that you can have that that James Gunn will never deliver? Because that's the reality. James Gunn is never going to deliver that level of quality. It doesn't matter 10, 20, 40, 100, 1,000 years from now. James Gunn will never be on the level of Zack Snyder. Period. He's just not. He's not. And yes, I'm a Zack Snyder fan. I'm not a cultist. I'm a fan of what he likes, but at the same time, I don't like some of his stuff. I don't like Army of the Dead. But then you James Gunn cultists always want to point one thing. Oh, you guys are cultists because you only love everything Zack Snyder. I'm telling you straight up, I'm a Zack Snyder fan, and I do not like Army of the Dead. And I love zombie movies, but Army of the Dead just wasn't it. And I'm telling you as a zombie fan. So I can disagree and also say, yo, like that to me was like, yo, I didn't like it. But then we get labeled as, oh, you James, I mean, you Snyder cultists and this and that. We're not the ones that are enjoying and entertaining ourselves with an orgy scene like James Gunn has been doing, and he's been putting out with all of his shit shows. Because that's what these shows are. They're all garbage. And it's like, how do you eat that up? I just can't. I really can't. And those clips that are coming out that people are putting out, they're leaking. Like people are putting videos of the show and stuff like that. And I'm like, I just can't. I really can't, yeah, no, we're not toxic. We're not toxic. Like we do so much for charity and all that stuff. But again, the thing is with these James Gunn cultists, they know that their DC is coming to an end. They know it. This is why once this buyout happens, I'm telling y'all right now, shit's gonna flip on everybody, because we don't know what's gonna happen. But I've been telling y'all, the more we keep on getting into this whole buyout and this news that keeps on coming out, like more things are gonna get interesting. You have to remember, the market is right now bad. Money talks. In the end, it's all about money. And what and who wants to acquire them, that's where things are going to come into play, and we're going to find out more, and it's going to be like, all right, like, what the hell's going to, what's going to come from it. Um, we got to see. Um, let's see. All right, I'm just trying to see with the comments and stuff. All right. So, you know, yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild, honestly. Hold on, let me see. All right, I see some of the comments. That. All right, let's see. See, that's the thing. That's the thing that has come down to DC. It's so damn divided. Like, this company is so divided, and it's all because of what James Gunn has caused. This is what James Gunn has caused. This literally is what he has caused. I don't care what anybody tells me. He has caused this because he had one chance, one opportunity when he came to DC, and he could have fixed everything. He could have literally gained the Snyder fan base. He could have just said, you know what? We're going to do it properly, and we're going to end, and then we're going to reboot. All right, cool. You could have done that. Give us what we want. That's it. That's all we're fighting for. That's all we want. But no, instead, he keeps on going one route. That route splits up into three. Three becomes into five. Five becomes into 10. Like, it keeps getting out of control more and more. And I'm like, dude, like, I see exactly what you're doing. You're doing spider web in the sense of you're trying to get away so bad from the Snyderverse, but everywhere you go, you're just tangling yourself up even more. And no matter what you try to do to break free from it, the Snyderverse will always, forever be there. The DCU could be 1,000 years deep into its shitty universe or whatever they're trying to do. But when you go back to the beginning, and it doesn't matter, you could do 1,000 versions of Peacemaker, right? Let's see how it is. You could do 1,000 Peacemakers. Oh, but what about the original one? Where did it come from? Guess where it fucking came from? The DCEU. That's what I'm saying. You could be deep, 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 and people are always gonna ask. You imagine that, like, freaking people in the future, just like, yo, where did it all branch off? Where does it connect? Where does it come from? It always goes to the DCEU. Damn, what's the DCEU? Oh, the DCEU was what Zack Snyder was doing, David Ayer from that universe, and then this and that. What? And again, it will continue. You'll never be able to stop and bury it, no matter how much you try. You just can't. There's no cutting it and saying, oh, we're fully branched off. No, because regardless, when James Gunn came on board with the Suicide Squad was already a reboot of and what he had planned since the beginning. James Gunn already had planned out that his goal was going to be to reboot everything that was pertaining to Zack Snyder and the DCEU. I don't care what you tell me. That's what his goal was, and that's what he's doing right now. Everything that he's been doing with these retcons, reboots, resets, it's all the same thing. He's just trying to erase it. That's it. He's just trying to erase everything. But I thought Zack Snyder was James Gunn's friend. Oh, that's right, because that's a fucking lie. He's just saying that just to, like, not get backlash. But how come they're letting Matt Reeves do what he wants to do? Oh, because it was already there, right? There's not gonna be a Batman 3, I'm telling you. And there might not even be a Batman 2. And you might be like, damn, how do you know for sure that there's not gonna be a Batman 2? Let's look at some facts. Let's look at it. We're seeing James Gunn not promote anything that has to do with Matt Reeves, and especially now that the Penguin won all of these awards and stuff like that. You think James Gunn is gonna go out there and promote it and be like, oh yeah, like, oh no. Remember, that's an Elseworld. It's not part of the DCU. But then James Gunn comes out, like, somebody asked him, hey, can any of these actors come back as the character or as the actor to reprise a role in the DCU? And James Gunn's like, yeah, yes, they can. What is that telling you? James Gunn's low key telling you, yo, in due time, they're going to either cross over, I'm going to force them to cross over, or I'm going to take them away and strip them from their role, and they're going to come to my universe. That's how I take it. See what I'm saying? As a director, I'm looking at it like that. I'm like, yo, I'm telling you without telling you, the same way that I took Jason Momoa, that was your beloved Aquaman, and now he's going to be Lobo in my universe, I'm going to do the same probably if I feel like it and if I want, especially if I have the power to take away Robert Pattinson and make him be a character inside of my universe. We don't know. See what I'm saying? That's who James Gunn is, and that's what he's doing. And in the end, that's what it could come down to. You know, this is why, like, I see how things are just like it just keeps on getting worse over at Warner Brothers with DC. Right? I'm just focused on DC in general when it comes to the cinematic universe and everything that has to do with what's going on right now. If a buyout does happen, don't think that whoever is going to buy them out is going to continue this mess that's going on. No. Why would they? Why would they continue? Would they reboot again? I highly doubt it. Would they go back to what was working? I think that's what would happen because it wouldn't make sense. Oh, let's keep on. Let's just keep going and see how far it goes. How far? Look at how far in we are and it's not working. And don't come at me and tell me, oh, they're making money. It's successful. You know, it's a big success. It's a massive win. No, it's not. How? How? When you're literally glorifying a flop and you're saying, oh, you know, it's okay. We don't have to make a certain amount of money. As long as it makes its budget back, we're winning. We're winning. Think about that. Just think about that. If you're a business owner, right? And you're like, hey, I'm going to invest a certain amount of money. As long as I make my money back and I don't make no profit, it's a win. Then why are you in business? Why are you in business? Nobody goes into business with that mentality. If you go into business, you're not going to be like, yo, as long as I make back what I spend, then I'm good. Where's your profit? Where's the green? Well, because you made back what you spent, guess what? You're going to have to respend that again. And then what? It's a 50-50. You might make money. You might lose it all. It's a gamble. That's what I don't understand with how now this new timeline, if you want to say, of fans, how they're like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Superman doesn't need to make a billion. But hold on, you just said the other day that y'all had to make a billion on day one. That's what I don't understand. The other day, all these shills were praising when James Gunn announced Superman. Immediately, oh, it's going to make $1 billion on day one. And as we started getting closer, we started to see how they started changing their narratives, their shillings started changing. How come those first 2 weeks they were going hardcore with the shilling of Superman? How come these shills are not promoting Superman on Blu-ray and DVD with the release? I didn't know that shit released. I didn't. Oh, but guess what? Because WB doesn't have that money again for them to shill. That's why. Notice that? How all these YouTubers came out. Oh, go watch Superman. Hey, you have to go watch it. Hey, everybody was straight up glazing on DC just for free tickets so they can go and see Superman, right? We saw with the ticket sales how bad it was doing when they went up. We saw it. They weren't selling. They weren't selling. Oh, but they don't want to tell you that. But yet they're winning, right? They're winning with that. That's what I don't comprehend. That's what I don't get. And I'm like, you're okay with that? How? No wonder this company is falling apart. No wonder. That's why. Those are all the reasons that it's falling apart. Because they don't care. And just like that, us as fans, customers, consumers have had enough. We're also doing the same. We are not. We are not doing, like we're not supporting that. And that's where this whole movement while it's closed comes into place. And notice how barely anybody's talking about Peacemaker. The only reason why I'm talking about Peacemaker and bringing this video right now and doing this live with y'all is because of course is what popped up on my feed. So I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like I'm not even looking for it. It just automatically just found me. I'm like, I don't want to see this crap, but I saw it because I'm like, you know what? I ain't paying for this. I'm gonna just watch it. And I saw it. I was like, what the hell? This is what it's become. No wonder people are not tuning in. No wonder the views are so low for this show of Peacemaker. Season 1 had more views than the second one, and it's like, but this is okay. And this is what I had foretold. I was like, remember I told you I was like they're gonna normalize a flop because it's the beginning of something new, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to glorify this flop and make it seem like, well, it's the start of something new. You know, who cares? As long as it made its budget back. Embarrassing. That's embarrassing. To me, that's completely embarrassing. I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't get how this company is still in business when it comes to that. You know? Um, yeah, yeah, that's true. James Gunn's Superman movie didn't surpass Man of Steel worldwide. Exactly. Captain America: Brave New World flopped and didn't surpass Captain America: Civil War. Exactly. That's true. That's true. I agree with you. You think it's WB behind when they ignore Snyder, but instead they chose James Gunn? Makes no sense. That's corruption, and I don't like that. Yeah, exactly. Favoritism. That all falls under favoritism. Especially if Paramount Skydance Corporation turns WB a subsidiary. I'm done with them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, like things are cooking up, and this is gonna get more and more interesting. And this is the reason why some of the stocks of WB are going up, just because people are talking about it, because they want to see where this is going to go. You know, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. Um, no, it didn't surpass Man of Steel. That's what they want you to think. Reynaldo, accept it. That's what Rotten Tomatoes and all these fake paid critics and reviewers want you to believe. Superman, James Gunn, did not, let me repeat, it did not pass Man of Steel, even with inflation. It did not. But I get it. You guys are all in denial and you guys can't accept the reality. Superman was a financial failure. But since Rotten Tomato makes you believe it's a success, you're gonna believe that it's a success. Because WB is praising it that it's a success, you're gonna believe that it's a success. And it's not. It's not a success. That movie tanked. It tanked. Yes, it made its budget back. And it was all domestic. Now when you look at the numbers worldwide, it's embarrassing. It really is. It really, really is. Even exactly. Even with Google, Google can also lie. Google can get paid by WB to say, hey, look, just like they do on Wikipedia, that you could create an account and go in there and put in information and make it seem like it's legit. I can create you a fake report and be like, look, here's the report. And you could believe it. Oh wow, look, he did his research. This is real. Yeah, look, the numbers, it's legit. The same way that they can do that, what do you think that they could do? They could alter it. They could change it. They could fabricate it. In other words, they could fake it. And that's what they're doing. They're lying to everybody. They're lying to everybody. That's the thing. How come all of this merchandise for Superman, if it's so successful, how come it's already a Ross? It's on clearance. It's not selling. It's overstocked at Walmart. Go to Walmart. Everything is overstocked for Superman. You go to clearance and it's there. And people still don't want it. When James Gunn brought out The Suicide Squad, guess where that movie on DVD ended up at? At the $5 bucket bin at Walmart. And it still didn't sell. Those things were all overstocked everywhere. I remember when people were putting up pictures of it and stuff. They're like, look, it's already on clearance. And it didn't sell. The McFarlane toys from The Suicide Squad, those things sat for months, years, until recently. I think it just sold. Like I did a video on it. You can see it on my thing, on my shorts. It was at my store of Walmart locally, and it sat there for probably like 4 years, 3 years, and I think it just sold like during Black Friday in 2024, because if, of course, price drops. So probably was somebody was waiting it out. Who knows? Or probably Walmart was just like, we need to get rid of this inventory, and it just doesn't sell. It doesn't sell. Now riddle me this, and that's with James Gunn. How come McFarlane Toys today, right? Today, at the time of this recording, are doing their next crowdfunding, and it's from David Ayer's Suicide Squad version with Harley and Joker. How come it's not with James Gunn if we're in this new reboot and we're in this new restart? Because it doesn't sell. You know what does sell, and you know what WB needs again to capitalize from to help fund their shitty DCU with James Gunn? They need to feed off of the Snyderverse. That's the reality. They need to feed off and make money because they know that we pay. They know that we pay. James Gunn fans don't pay. What, three or four of y'all? Because if y'all paid, y'all would have made $1 billion.
Fans pay, and you know why? Because when Zack Snyder's Justice League hit HBO Max, those servers crashed. They crashed because of the high traffic that were on that website. If you don't believe me that high traffic does exist, try pre-ordering a McFarlane toy that everybody's after on that Friday when they release it. Go and see, and you'll see that the servers crash on McFarlane Toy Store. And I'm not just talking about like Zack Snyder stuff. I'm just talking about in general, because everybody wants that one item. Everybody's after it. You don't believe me? Go to GameStop's website. Go to GameStop's store like today and go try to get some Pokemon cards. The lines are gonna be long. They're gonna be ridiculous. People will sleep there like 2 or 3 days in advance. That's because it sells. Nobody's lining up and sleeping at a James Gunn's movie. I didn't see nobody sleeping outside 2 or 3 days before just because, oh, I want to go see James Gunn's Superman. No, no. And when the theaters were selling, they didn't even sell out on day one. Oh, but here they want to come out and portray that, oh, it was such a financial success, when in reality it wasn't. So you gotta tell me that McFarlane Toys chose to be like, hey, let's go ahead and put out of all the characters, because we have all these characters we could play with from DC. Let's just go ahead and put Harley Quinn with Margot Robbie and Jared Leto's Joker from a movie that was released like what, like almost 10 years ago, right? Damn, for a dead universe, they sure love to milk the Snyderverse, right? See what I'm saying? Your shitty DCU has to be funded by the Snyderverse, by the Snyder fans, by the real customers, the real consumers that actually pay. That's the difference. James Gunn? No, no. The Suicide Squad flopped, and you know it, Reynaldo. You looked into it. You all know that that movie tanked. Oh, but it was it's okay because it's James Gunn, right? I foretold it, and I told y'all when that movie came out, I was like, this is a preview of what James Gunn is going to bring when he does Superman. And look at where we are right now. All these years after, and look at where DC is at. About to be sold off to another company. And I can't wait. I can't wait. A lot of us are like that, you know? I really can't wait, you know? Like I told you before, if you were in charge of DC Studios, you would have let Snyderverse continue to finish their chapter first before James Gunn and Peter Safran or someone else reboots the DCU. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. And I would have probably seen James Gunn in a different point of view when it comes to like CEO of DC Studios, but he ruined that chance. And if he tries to go back and tries to repair it now, it's too late. It's too late. If he tries to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring in Henry Cavill," which it won't happen, but I'm just saying, just trying to give a little credit to to y'all. But if he was to say, "Hey, I'm gonna bring in Henry Cavill to reprise Superman as a what is it, Crisis or whatever that thing's called," I still won't accept it. I still won't, honestly. I'll be like, nah, nah. I saw what you did with the Flash. You gave him that little small cameo in that TV, that little small monitor in the background, right? That doesn't justify it. That's why I say cameos are pointless. Cameos to me, I'm like, it just doesn't make sense, you know. I don't know. It's just it's weird, you know. It's weird in the situation of what DC has become, and at least like I for one, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. I know I'm not missing nothing out. I know I'm not missing anything out. And I feel good. I really feel good because I'm like, damn, you know what? Like it's like James Gunn is on self destruct with this company, and he's doing a fine job at that. He's ruining DC down to the ground, like 100%. He's doing a fantastic job at that, and it's showing. It's showing. I'm telling you, the pressure is building up on James Gunn. It's just a matter of time, especially how we're starting to hear more of these buyouts that they want WB, that Comcast and Netflix and Paramount Skydance, whatever, whoever wants it, go for it. They need to start preparing those bids. And we know that Comcast has some serious money. We know Netflix has some serious money. Amazon has serious money also. Apple, they got money, but I don't think they have that much money. And nor do they have I think they don't really have the compassion and the care like these studios would, because Apple is like they're a phone company. They'll be like AT&T, they'll be like, screw it. They'll probably buy it and then they'll sell it immediately because it's too much. That's why AT&T sold it. They couldn't handle it. Because at the time I had an inside plug, and I was like, "Yo, what's up with this whole buyout thing?" And they were like, "Nah, they're gonna sell it." And I was like, "What?" Yeah, they're gonna sell it because they can't handle it. They're a phone company. They don't know nothing about the industry. That's why they sold it off to David Zaslav, which was Discovery. And at the time we know Discovery was also trying to buy out and trying to get IPs and stuff. That's why they ended up acquiring Warner Brothers. And of course, if Discovery was able to buy them out, and we're talking about what, a few years ago, like probably like within the past 4 years or whatever, when they came into play, like with 21 or something. That's like what, 4 or 5 years ago if you want to count it. Um, don't think that in a studio like Comcast, that they own Universal, and or Netflix can buy WB out. They can. It's all about money. In the end, it's all about money. It's all about like, yo, like well, how much are we talking about? If you guys ever seen Jurassic Park 3, remember when the Kirby dude, he pulls out the check and he lies to he lies to Grant, and he tells him, "Oh, let's go back to the island." And he's like, "Nah, I'll never go back to the island." And he pulls out the little checkbook when they're in the little bar, and he's like, "Go ahead, Mr. Grant. I could write all kind of zeros on this." That's exactly what that would fall into this too. Don't think that Comcast and Netflix don't have that type of money. They have money, and they could pretty much do that. They could be like, "Yo, I could write all these zeros on it. What you want, David Zaslav? How much is it gonna be?" See what I'm saying? And like I said, and I'll keep on emphasizing it. It would be a real bad decision if David Zaslav doesn't sell WB. Because the moment he rejects and turns down any offer from these bids that we're gonna be starting to hear soon, I'm telling y'all right now, this is all like, I'm ready with my popcorn. I know a lot of y'all are too. I'm ready with my popcorn, with my chair. I'm ready to see how this is gonna go off. Who's going to make the first offer? How much are they going to offer? That's where I want to see. Once we start hearing, immediately Wall Street's gonna cover it. Like, this is all gonna you're gonna start hearing it from everybody, and you're gonna be hearing it from like Variety, Hollywood Reporter, all of these big sources. But the main ones that I want to be hearing is once it starts going into the stock market, and we start hearing it, because then this is serious. We're gonna be like, yo, these people are serious. They are not playing, and that's what I want to hear. I can't wait. We're gonna be hearing that soon, because they're still preparing whatever it is, with the bids and what they want to offer. You can't just come overnight and be like, you know what, we're gonna offer this much amount, and whatever, they'll take it or leave it. Now we're gonna counter offer with this. No, it takes some time for them. You have to remember also, these companies like Paramount, Skydance, and if we're hearing the rumor that they're starting to have second thoughts because it's probably gonna be too much. Remember, they just acquired $8 billion with Skydance, that merger. $8 billion sounds like a lot of money, but $8 billion could run out overnight if you try to acquire, especially the debt that WB has. See what I'm saying? So it's like it could come back, but we know for sure the internet's gonna be wild. The internet's gonna be like on fire. Everybody's gonna be like, "Yo, what's this bid and how much are they going at it?" And once those bids start going in, we're all gonna be hearing it left and right. Hey, this company made this offer. Oh snap, hold on. They said hold on because they're waiting for another counter offer. When we start hearing big money like that, I'm telling you right now, if David Zaslav turns that down, I'm telling you right now, he's a fool. He's a fool for doing that, because this industry is already doing bad. Hollywood is doing bad. It's struggling right now. It's really, really doing bad. And they can't afford to take another loss. WB is a big company. They distribute a bunch of movies, products, music. They do a bunch of things in this industry. It's not just movies and DC. They do a whole bunch of things. They're like Sony. Sony does the same thing too. But the thing is, Sony also has some big debt. Not as big as like Warner Brothers, but I don't see Sony even trying. Maybe Sony might make one offer randomly, but I don't think Sony has that type of money to be competing against Comcast and of course Netflix. We see it. Look at the stocks of Netflix, over $1,000 a share. That's nuts. That's nuts. That's insane. That's insane. Just think about that. That's a lot of money. Like that's just a lot of money, and when you have Paramount, they're like what, like the last time I checked were like in the 70s, 80s or something like that. and now WB slowly starting to go up, is because people, um, oh, okay, hold on, let me see. Has joined Henry Cavill's Highlander movie. Nice, nice, cool, cool. I hope that does happen. Hopefully, it doesn't get canceled or anything. Hopefully he recovers quick and things like that. The thing is, look, in the end, it's all about money. That's all it is. It's all about money. And I know David Zaslav, of course, he's there just savoring like how much are they gonna offer him and what he's gonna end up going with. Whoever ends up acquiring them, they're gonna clean house. They're gonna clean house. Like I don't see all the people from WB staying once they take over, whoever takes over, because it's gonna be a takeover. Let's be real. They're just gonna bring in their own people like every corporation does. Like they bring in their own teams, and they slowly get rid of the what was previously there before, and change is coming. Change is coming for sure for the good. How they want to do it, that's a different story. All I care about is that they include the Snyderverse and whatever the hell they want to do with DC. That's it. That's all. You want to have your Matt Reeves, you want to have your James Gunn, go for it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not watching them. I just want to hear them say, hey, look, we're going to do more with Zack Snyder and what you guys wanted with DC on a different timeline. All right, cool. I'll be good with that. I would be, let's go. I'll be like, that's it. Sign me up. Let's go. I don't care if it's a reboot. I don't care if it's in the sense of like how they want to go about on with what they want to do with that version. I'm not saying reboot the whole thing. I'm just saying if whatever the hell they want to do, like on the route of the Snyderverse, whether they want to continue with things left off, which would be the best option, or if they want to go in a new route with what was already established. How they want to do that, that's their thing. I have no clue. But as long as they let Zach do what he wants to do, and they give him the creative freedom like Netflix has done, and how WB's right now letting James Gunn do whatever the hell he wants, yo, that's all we want. That's it. You give us what we want, and I will gladly be done, and I would finally shut up about the Snyderverse. Y'all want us to really shut up about the Snyderverse? Then give us what we want. That's it. That's all we're asking. Just give us what we want. And once that's done and you give us what we want, then I can say, you know what? Mission accomplished. We're done. That's it. It's time to move on. But until that doesn't happen, I will keep on talking about it. I will keep on emphasizing it. I will keep on repeating myself. Because, like I've said it, and I will say it again, we will stop at nothing. And these studios need to realize that. They need to also give us what we want. It's not convenient just for you as a studio to say, we're not gonna give the Snyder fans what they want. But we know what they want. They want more of Zack Snyder. They want Justice League 2 and 3. They want Ben Affleck back as Batman. They want another Superman with Henry Cavill. We know that that's what they want. But we're not gonna give it to them. Instead, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put out more merchandise on their behalf, and we're gonna keep on milking them. That's what I don't accept. That's what I don't agree with because it's convenient for them, like they're doing right now with McFarlane. And that's another thing too. I forgot to say, McFarlane is not the one that says, "Hey, we're gonna put out, Joker and Harley because that's what's gonna sell." No, WB themselves are the ones that tell McFarlane because McFarlane said that in an interview 2 years ago. He's like, Warner Brothers tells us what we have to put out, and if it makes money, it makes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's what they chose to go with. So we just have to do what they do. I mean, what they want us to do because they're the ones that are paying. McFarlane is just producing the product. But Warner Brothers is still calling the shots and telling McFarlane, hey, look, we want to put out this campaign fund. You know why? Because they know that Batman versus Superman Batmobile got funded in 4 days. They made over 400,000 just the goal in what 5 days? In 5 days, less than a week. That's money that everybody would love to have. Yo, if I can make 500,000 in 5 days, let's go. You get what I'm saying? Who's gonna turn that down? So that's how greedy WB is. That they're like, you know what? Let's do this again. And this is how I see it. They're like, you know what? Let's see if these fans again come out and support the next product. Let's see. I don't know how much it's going for right now. I saw it earlier today, but the servers were kind of down, and McFarlane came out. He spoke about it. He was like, they're working on it behind. It's always a fucking working behind, right? I don't get it. Fucking big ass corporations, but you can't afford good technology to sell your product. It doesn't make sense. I've never understood that. Honestly, I just don't comprehend. If you're McFarlane at the rate that you are, you shouldn't have no problems with your service. All this product should be available to everybody. Whatever. The point is that they're looking at it from both point of views. I look at it from both point of views. The studio's probably like, you know what? Let's see if these fans really show up. But then again, we'll remilk them again because we already got them with the Batmobile. We got that funded, and in the month it surpassed the numbers. And these companies are all like GameStop. They're all about the numbers. They're all about, oh, like, can we upsell you more? That's their goal. Now they're like, all right, if they back it up, cool, we got their money. But if they don't back it up, you see, we told you those fans they're not gonna come through. They're not gonna show up. That's how they look at it. That's how they see it from two point of views. It's sad, but we're gonna have to show them again and shut them up and be like, yo, it's gonna get funded. I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna back it up soon. And I tell y'all straight up, let's do it again. Let's outperform and show them, yo, there's still passion, there's still love, there's still support for the DCEU, and especially for David Ayer. That's still part of the Snyderverse. That's still part of the Snyderverse. I'm not gonna get all of the tiers. I just want to get Joker and Harley. That's it. That's the only two that I want. I don't care about the last one. I really don't. It's just a different outfit she has. But it's telling you, it's gonna sell. It's gonna sell, and they know it. They just want to see if they could capitalize again in 4 days. It's not gonna happen in 4 days because, unfortunately, David Ayer's Suicide Squad. First, we don't have the air cut. Two, like it's not that popular because, of course, James Gunn ruined it, and everything is he's trying to shadow, his the Suicide Squad. So people are so confused. They're like, what? Like I thought it was this Suicide Squad again with the confusion. You see what I'm saying? Forever, it's always gonna be there, the DCEU. So I'm looking at it from both sides. I'm like, I see WB's point of view. Oh, if the fans buy it, then yeah, they support it. If they don't buy it, they're gonna be like, you see, we told you it was gonna be a bad idea. Told you it wasn't gonna work. And then in the end, if it doesn't get funded, then we're gonna have all these clowns making fun of us and saying, "Ha, you see, your universe is dead." You see what I'm saying? So it's like they could use it against us, or we could use it against them in the sense of business. Like, yo, we knew that shit was gonna get funded. But then if it doesn't, they're gonna be like, yo, oh, you see, it was a dead universe, it didn't make money, it didn't sell, you know? So they're gonna use that against us and say, oh well, we told you the air verse, with Suicide Squad wasn't popular and blah blah blah. Like that's the thing. That's the thing when it comes to that. You saw the McFarlane Superman. You're not getting it. I prefer other versions of DC, not James Gunn. Yeah, I agree with you. Same, same. Let's push Comcast buying WB. Yeah, I think in the end, Comcast is the ones that's gonna acquire them. I don't know why, but something is telling me. I would love Netflix, but let's be real. Between Comcast and Netflix, I personally, this is me, I would personally want Comcast because remember Comcast owns Universal, and they put out physical media. And I just put up a video about that not long ago. I just made a video talking about that. Comcast would provide more customer service and fan service because they'll put out actual content. For example, like we'll actually get a physical if they were to put out Justice League 2 and 3 from Zack Snyder. We'll actually get like probably a Blu-ray, a DVD, all that good stuff. Netflix Netflix doesn't put out physical media. They just don't. Netflix is greedy as fuck and all they want is digital. Digital and digital. I'm not against it, but shit, if we fought like we fought for the Snyder cut, I want a piece of that. I showed y'all earlier. I got both versions. I got Joss Whedon's version of Justice League, and I have the True Vision, which is from Zack Snyder. And I love the Snyder cut, you know? But the point is that we fought for that unicorn. We fought for the Snyder cut. You know how many mockery, insults, threats, disrespect, and the list continues from all the James Gunn cultists again? Because these were the same fans that were talking smack, and we've seen it. We've seen these YouTubers how they were shilling, and after the poor performance of Superman, how they came out crying and complaining and saying, "Oh, it didn't meet my expectations. I want my refund." All this stuff, right? So the same way that they did that, It's the same way now we can also jump for joy and still say, look, remember when you said this would never happen? Remember when the Snyder Cut would never get released? But what am I holding in my hand? Oh, that's right, a real physical copy of the Snyder Cut. If we didn't stop back then, why are we going to stop now? That's what I'm saying. To me, I love both companies. I love Netflix. I love what they do. And I love how much they're interested in. But in the end, Netflix, as a business standpoint, would just want to milk the Snyderverse and us, the fans, just for the streaming service. And you can kiss physical media with them goodbye because Netflix is not about that. We still haven't even gotten anything from Zack Snyder with Netflix of Army of the Dead, Rebel Moon, and physical media. And look, it's been a few years. So I'm like, damn, what do you think? That they won't pull the same stunt? They'll do the same thing. Sure, they'll give us content. All right, that's cool. But damn, I also want that in my hands, like physical. You get what I'm saying? Because, of course, it's nice. But at the same time, it's like, we know Netflix doesn't care about that. We're not gonna get theatrical releases with Netflix. And that whole thing, I know somebody told me that they're buying out theaters. They're not. They only did that with that Egyptian theater in LA just because they wanted to do private screening of their stuff and things like that. But besides that, I looked into it. They don't care about buying theaters. They don't. They're not into it. Their thing is just streaming. Exclusive is just streaming. That's all they care about. Imagine this if this happened with the MCU pre-Endgame. MCU fans would be rioting like us DCU fans. Exactly, exactly. Like if DC really wanted to be like Marvel, and then notice how now, oh, we can't be like Marvel. We don't want to be like Marvel. Marvel's uniting all the universes. They're literally eating good. They're bringing in old characters, old casts, old actors, actresses, whatever it is, and they're all eating. They're all eating. Meanwhile, we got James Gunn destroying everything, erasing this, retconning that. Oh, this is canon, but that's not canon. This might be canon. That might be maybe somewhere. Like it's just more and more messy every time, and that's what I'm not good with. I'm like, yo, I just don't get it. Honestly, it's nuts. It's really really nuts. It's wild. It truly is wild, but this is where we are right now. Let's see. Question: Are you studying to become a director? I've directed a few projects here and there. I've done some work on short films and things like that. But with that, I am gonna be putting it into my comic and stuff like that. So yeah, like all that stuff that I've done and I've gained and I've pretty much that creative side. Yeah, I'm gonna be putting into effect into some stuff that I'm working on, well, within my comics and stuff like that. So I got something that I'm preparing. Like I said, like once that's ready, then I'll announce it. But there is something that I'm working on with that. Because right now Marvel's MCU absolutely sucks. Yeah, exactly. Like I love the old Marvel. It all ended for me at Endgame. That's it. After Endgame, I was like, that's it. That's a wrap. Let's not even focus about no universe now. That's it. We're done. But nope, greedy Marvel, greedy Disney. Look at where they are right now. It's so messy. I'm like, what have you become? And it's like, and DC, they're even worse. I'm like, I just don't get them. I really don't. Oh, speaking physical media, not just WB and Universal. How about Lionsgate? Because they sell copies as well. Yeah, but Lionsgate doesn't have money like that. That's the thing. Lionsgate is good. Yeah, they put out physical media, but they don't have money to like buy out WB. They just don't. Lionsgate is just they're a small company inside in this business and stuff. Um, he's like Lionsgate. Um, yeah, Lion Gates don't have that type of money, honestly. The top contenders I see would be, of course, Paramount Skydance. That's if they don't back out. Of course, Netflix, Comcast, which is Universal. Um, I could see Amazon up there. Apple, like I said, I don't really see Apple probably up there just because Apple looks like the type, along with Sony, that they'll be like, you know what? We'll bid this much, and okay, you outbid me. Whatever. They'll just turn around and be like, yeah, whatever. We're still a phone company, so we're still making money. And it's not easy. If they acquire WB, that's not gonna be an easy task for anybody. Like that doesn't have the experience. It'll be easy for Skydance, Paramount, for Comcast, which is Universal and Netflix. That's easy because that's what they do. That's all they do, put out movies and that type of stuff. But for a company that's like, that's like, what do you call it? What's these people I just said? Apple. Apple's a phone company. Apple's not gonna be like, yo, oh, how do you do the distribution? Oh, how do you do this with the movies and who do we talk to? Like, they're a phone company. Apple should just stick to what they're good at, phones. That's it. Same like AT&T. AT&T was quick. They sold freaking WB, like they sold that quick. They acquired it. They didn't last long. They were like, yo, we don't want to deal with this headache, and they knew it was a headache. It's not easy. It's tough. It's tough to run a business, especially when you're like doing movies and all that stuff. Because one, you're gonna have fans of every type talking, every type. This is what I'm doing with my comic. I'm keeping it simple. I'm not doing no multiverse. I'm not doing none of that crap. I'm just keeping it simple. This is one character, one universe, and this is what's going down. That's it, easy. Nobody has to be like, oh, you got to connect this character from that timeline, but this one he semi connects, but the other one's a different version. But you have to understand by reading these comics and be able to put it, yo, what the hell? That's a freaking puzzle, right? You see how stressful that sounds? That's exactly how it sounds with DC right now. That's exactly how it sounds with Marvel right now. It's confusing. It's all over the place. And it's because they brought that upon themselves. The same thing with the Transformers brand. I love Transformers. I really do. But damn, it's such a mess. It's such a mess with the cinematic universe. If they should have just left what they were doing with Michael Bay, and this is why they're bringing him back because they know that that's what worked. It's not for every fan, but you shouldn't be trying to please every fan. And that's what I've been doing too with my comic. I'm not here to please every fan. I can't. It's impossible. I can't please every fan, and I'm aware of that, and I'm okay with that. But these studios are not okay with that. These studios are so desperate in trying to please everybody that's why they are in this mess. You cannot please every fan. You just can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. And now what they're doing with the Transformers brand is like, who knows what the hell they want to do, you know? And now with how DC is doing with James Gunn, who knows what the hell is gonna keep on going, you know? Once a buyout come out and they're like, yo, we want to offer you this much, and we start hearing those bids. Hey, Paramount just made this offer. What? All right, it just kicked off. Oh, Netflix just counter offer with this price. What? Damn. Comcast just counter offered both of their prices. What? Oh, hell yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. You get what I'm saying? That's when things are going to get real interesting. And that's coming soon. That is coming soon, I'm telling you. This is going to be interesting with the way that things are going right now. Has Paramount, what? Has Comcast made Universal look like Skydance with Paramount? That I know of, not yet, not yet. Who knows what's gonna come from this? Honestly, it's wild. It's wild. What is this? Julia's sucked. Shalabal should have been stayed in the comics where it belongs. Another letdown like 28 years later. Oh, 28 years later, man. That movie sucks so bad. Like, seriously, man. The first two films, amazing. What we just got recently was so bad. And I'm not even gonna see the next one. That's how bad it is. I'm not even gonna watch the next one, honestly. I don't even care about it. Like, to me, the 28 years, 28 brand is dead to me. Like, it's done. Like, I don't even know who approved of that movie. I went in that movie with zero expectations. I came out with all type of with all type of feelings. I was like, this was a waste of money and time, honestly. If Zack Snyder comes back for DC, do you think he could make a better Flash movie with the original script, Snyder cut style? Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. He could do it. He could do it. He's the man. I know, and I believe that he can. You know, when let's be real. Look, when we saw Justice League, right? We all saw the mess that Justice League was. There's no denying that. Give me a second. I'm gonna drink water. Let's be real. When Justice League came out, we knew the moment we saw it that that wasn't a Zack Snyder movie. I knew immediately. I was like, this is not a Zack Snyder movie. I was like, this is not. This is a wannabe Avengers movie, and you can see it. You can see it from beginning to end. I was like, they're trying so hard to be like Marvel. You could see that it felt like a Marvel version of a Justice League, and I was like, this is not what we were gonna get. You can clearly see it. You can clearly see it. And the moment that movie got released, I was like, WB made a big mistake. Now, how are they gonna fix this? And once that movie released, a lot of people started making fun. They were like, "Oh, this is what you guys waited for." Blah blah blah. Okay, this is not what we wanted. And we knew since that moment that we were like, this is not the vision that we wanted to get. We know that there's something better than this. And we knew that there was a lot of content cut. We're like, this is not the final version of what Zack Snyder wanted to give us. We know his style. We know how he makes his movies. And we're like, yo, something's gonna come from this. And then that's when the whole thing of release the Snyder cut came, and slowly it started building up. I remember that. I remember in the beginning people were talking, and then it just. I remember one hashtag seeing that, release the Snyder cut, and slowly started picking up, and then everybody was talking about it. The mainstream was talking about it. Blue check marks were talking about it. Shills were talking about it. Back then, shills were shills without knowing they were shills. They were talking about it. When you have like comic book casts shilling back then saying, "Oh, the Snyder cut would never exist, and there's no such thing as a Snyder cut," and "Oh, you Snyder cultists," and since back then they've been name calling us, and it's okay, right? But then when we got the announcement with AT&T buying out, you know, the whole thing with the WB and stuff like that, and then there was rumors going around, hey, we're gonna get the Snyder cut. People started turning their head the other way, like what, what? Everybody was like, what? It woke everybody up, and everybody was like, no, it's not gonna happen. There's no such thing as a Snyder cut. I remember that. And I was watching at the time a bunch of YouTubers, and I used to watch videos on them all the time. And I was like always literally hunting for a new video of release the Snyder cut. And there was one dude that I used to watch all the time, Ping Pong Flicks. Dude used to go all out when he was like a small channel. He grew his channel on the Snyder cut. And the same thing with the Truth. They grew their channels. They literally grew their channels off of the Snyder Cut. And I remember I would talk with the Truth before the Truth became who he is now. He was chill. He used to always be like, "Yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the next Batman, Justice League, this and that." And we're talking about Snyder movies. And the same thing with Ping Pong. He would respond here and there and stuff when he was still a small channel. The moment that everything shifted and they were like, "No, we're done with it," like they started slowly shilling and Dave the Junkie, the Film Junkie, whatever his name is now. The same thing. They were all talking about it, and back then they were fighting for it. We were all united. We were all fighting for it. We were like, "Yo, we want the Snyder cut. We want the Snyder cut." We got the Snyder cut. When we got the Snyder cut, all of these channels, they all straight up froze in the sense of Ping Pong. He disappeared for a while. He stopped making content. He even said it because of the whole Superman thing, and he wasn't excited, and so he took a long ass break. He took like a few years off. YouTube. He deleted all his videos and stuff. He started posting videos of somewhere like in wherever he's at. I don't know, and then the truth slowly started changing. He started praising James Gunn and oh, it's time for a change and the Snyderverse is done. That they need to move away. Blah blah. Like all these channels started shilling more. And I was like, damn, yo, you grew your channel and your fan base off the Snyder fans, the Snyder community. And this is how you repay us? I was like, damn, yo, like, and at that time, I wasn't taking YouTube serious. I wasn't. I was just like on YouTube, just straight up eating shit. I was just like watching videos and comments and I just wasn't taking it serious. So when you see my channel and you see that I've been around for like over 10 years, it's because I was just on YouTube, but I never took it serious until probably the past maybe 3 years. That's when I started saying, you know what? We need motivation. And that's why y'all saw that I was putting out videos and I remember I was slowly starting to gain followers and stuff and because of that. And then from there, look at where we are right now. And I still continue to talk about it because I don't give up on hope. I know it's going to happen. The same way that I didn't give up and I didn't lose hope on the Snyder cut, is the same way that I don't give up hope on the Snyderverse getting restored. And this is what these James Gunn toxic fans come out and say. If you get offended by that, you're the one that I'm talking about. If you didn't get offended by what I just said, then you are a fan. But the fake fans are the ones that take it to heart and take it personal. Oh, you call me fake. Oh, I can't be fake. Oh, this and that. Look, what I'm trying to say is the point is that now that you have people like me, you have other channels that are still fighting and literally defending the Snyderverse. It's a problem for these other channels, especially the ones that are shilling, because they've already bent two knees and they're glazing on James Gunn. So they're glazing on this whole DCU, and they're like, oh, you see, this is the best thing. No, it's not. You know that it's not the best thing. You know that it's not where it used to be. You know, but they want to give you all these fake paid, reviews and all the shilling. The shilling gets out of control. So in the end, when you see how everything has become to where it's at right now with James Gunn, the fandom is so divided because we are, as DC fans, we're divided. We are so damn divided that it is nuts. It's nuts. We're divided into like so many sections. You have the James Gunn fans, you have the Matt Reeves fans, you have the Snyder fans, you have the Schumacher fans, you have the Keaton fans, you have the Christian Bale fans, with Christopher Nolan. Now you have the James Gunn Brave the Batman Brave and the Bold fans that are gonna start building up. It's too much. Meanwhile, Marvel is uniting all their fans, and they're doing it right, and they're eating. We're not eating. We are not eating. We were eating. But the thing is with WB is that they were so scared of Rotten Tomatoes because Rotten Tomatoes said one little comment, oh, Batman versus Superman doesn't live up to the standards. Oh, Batman versus Superman was too brute. Oh, Batman versus Superman and blah 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 blah. Their lies continued, right? And this is where we are today. Meanwhile, they're giving James Gunn with Peacemaker what 100% almost. Oh, it's perfect. No, it's not. Super flop. It's perfect. No, it's not. That's where I have a problem. See what I'm saying? Oh, but let's go ahead and review bomb Zack Snyder because you know what? Just for the hell of it. They tried doing it with Rebel Moon. Jokes on them. Rebel Moon was so successful on Netflix all over the world, not domestically. It was all over the world. People reporting from Japan, from China, from Switzerland, from the everywhere, the South Pole, the North Pole. Hell, they were even reporting from Mars that Netflix was winning with Zack Snyder and Rebel Moon. And that's what irritated all these fake fans. They're like, oh, hold on, Zack Snyder? Oh, hell no. Nah. We have to go and oh hell no. We have to, we have to review bomb it. And they couldn't stop it. They just can't. They still can't stop it because look at the stocks of Netflix. Let's compare the stocks of Netflix versus Warner Brothers. Who's doing what? Netflix, over $1,000 a share. WB, they barely got to 17, 18, maybe 20 after what, like 4 years? Come on. Come on. Let's call it how it is. And that's what they don't like to hear. They really don't like to hear that. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And it gets down to the point where it's like, yo, like real fans. I'm just talking about in general. Real fans know what they want. Real fans want quality. That's it. And we know we're not getting that with DC right now. We're not getting it in the comics. We're not getting in the video games. Hell, the video games are a whole different topic. It's a mess, but it's still Warner Brothers and it's still WB. I mean DC. So it's like you fix one thing, but then you go ahead and screw up the other. Like how do you go from Zack Snyder's Justice League, all that awesomeness, and we saw when people were saying it, oh damn, it's 10 times better than what we got before. This is what should have been released, blah blah blah. How do you go from that to you know what? We're gonna do a full reboot. What? How do you go reboot? You literally just introduced Darkseid for the first time in cinematic history. You introduced Darkseid, the biggest threat of your IP. Oh, but we're just gonna sweep that under the rug and we're just gonna reboot. What? What? Oh, what? How? Why? Why? That's how I see it. I'll be like, why? Why are you going to reboot? The Justice League is literally about to kick ass and face off Darkseid, and you're gonna reboot now because what? Because you feel that it's time to reboot. Reboot what? We haven't even gotten started. This literally just started. Let it at least finish. Let them do what needs to be done. But then, of course, who knows what goes on behind closed doors that we don't know and stuff like that. And who knows how much influence James Gunn has. And from what we're seeing, he has a lot of influence on David Zaslav because David Zaslav is letting him do whatever the hell he wants. And remember, David Zaslav said if it doesn't perform, they're going to move away from it. But I don't see that happening. At least not now because maybe James Gunn's still in the contract. Everything is changing, everything is shifting. And as we get closer and it comes to an end, let's be real. James Gunn's contract is coming to an end in November 2026. They can go ahead and start right now advertising. Yo, we're going to film Superman. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. It could be just a beautiful lie, honestly. Because they could go ahead and tell you, yeah, we have a 10-year reboot plan. Zack Snyder had a 10-year plan too. Christopher Nolan had a 10-year plan and it worked for him. They just didn't screw with him. That's the difference. They screw with Zach. That's a difference. See what I'm saying? How come James Gunn, they're not screwing with his plans? But here's where the big but comes into play. All right? Notice how they're announcing that they're going to start filming, if anything, Superman or whatever it is, the second one, sometime next year, right? In April or something. They can go ahead and film it. They can go ahead and film it. That's not a problem. Remember, they filmed Batgirl. They finished Batgirl and everybody got paid on Batgirl. And guess what happened to that movie? Ta-da! It got locked and it got thrown into a vote. It literally got thrown into the oblivion. It's in an abyss. It's somewhere in there, floating around. Meaning that that movie is complete, but they did a tax write-off. Meaning nobody has seen it. Only whoever was involved in it and stuff like that. What do you think that they can't do the same thing to James Gunn with his DCU? Yes, they can. Yes, the hell they can. They can go ahead and film everything they want. They could wrap that movie before November 2026, before his contract is up. And if this buyout does happen, what do you think might happen? The next studio or the next company that comes into play could be like, you know what? We don't feel we want to go this route. We want to go back to what worked, and that's the Snyderverse. I'm just speculating. You imagine that? And then they're like, you know what? This whole movie of Superman didn't perform and it doesn't meet our standards because we're the new company. It probably met the old company's standards, but this is a new takeover. It doesn't meet our standards. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to throw it in a vault and nobody's going to see it. And guess what? They could do another tax write off because it's cheaper for them to do that at the end of the year. And that is what I think is going to happen once the next company buys out Warner Brothers. And that's where James Gunn is panicking. That's where all these James Gunn cultists are coming into play. They're shivering, they're trembling, they're scared, they're worried because they know that James Gunn days at WB with DC are numbered. And in due time, they're going to erase it and they're going to move away. The same way they wanted to move away from Zack Snyder and David Ayer and everything that had to do with the DCEU, what do you think? That they won't pump the brakes and do the same thing to James Gunn? Of course they would. You're going to tell me that there's people on Paramount, at Comcast, at Netflix that are happy with what they're seeing in Peacemaker? Let's be real. Nobody in their sane mind would be okay with that. And especially if you run a business, you would not want your brand represented by what James Gunn is doing, what he stands for, especially knowing the history, why he got fired from Disney. Come on. Come on. Let's be real. I wouldn't want that. I'll be like, that's bad publicity for my company. I don't want that associated with anything of mine. Meanwhile, WB is okay with it. WB literally picked up the sloppy seconds from Disney. I like and I applaud Disney for firing James Gunn. They stood their ground and they did what was necessary. They did not tolerate that. Disney's a family company. And in that moment that they fired James Gunn, I say, you know what? Bravo. Bravo. Standing ovation, Disney. You finally did something right. You got rid of that scumbag. But then WB said, you know what? Oh, we're going to pick up the sloppy seconds. Oh, we're going to hire you. Here, come. Come do our cinematic universe because we're struggling, we're desperate, and we don't know what the hell we're doing. And you're the one that guided Guardians of the Galaxy. You're the perfect man for the job. Nope. Nope. I can guarantee you, I don't have to be there, but I can guarantee you that those people, whoever appointed James Gunn besides David Zaslav, must be having so much regrets and saying, hey, playing the blame game among themselves.
I told you James Gunn wasn't gonna work. We should have just not gone with him. Why did we go with him? Why did we do that contract? I regret giving this guy that contract. I can tell you that they're all probably like that because the way that things are with WB and DC, they're not in a stable place. They really are not. So whatever company comes into play, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, look, we have to clean house and we have to set things right. And if they don't do it immediately, this company is going to keep on falling and it's going to collapse. 100% is going to collapse because there's so much debt that WB can keep on absorbing until it literally catches up to the point of, yo, you have to file for bankruptcy because that's what happens. When you have so much debt, eventually you can't pay it off. You're going to be like, yo, we have to file for bankruptcy. And before that happens, that's where I think David Zasloff is seeing that it's heading. And he's like, you know what? This is my final opportunity. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to get away from all this. And he's probably going to go kick it and just play golf and retire and say, you know what? I don't want nothing to do with it and just enjoy whatever time he has left because, that's how it is. That would be the best thing that he can do. At this point, just sell it, because with James Gunn, this what is it? Whatever universe he's trying to do, whatever dimension he's trying to create, it's not working. It's not working. It literally has become just like when Justice League was out. I know many of us, including myself, felt that there was no hope. We were like, damn, we're never gonna see the Snyder Cut. I won't lie. There was times that I felt that way. There was times that I felt like, yo, we're never gonna see this, man. Like, but I can't give up. I can't give up. Do I still feel that? Sometimes. It's normal. It's human nature. But I can't give up because I know deep down inside, I know it's going to happen. And if I give up, then what's the point, honestly? And I can't, and I will not. This is why I refuse to not stop talking about it, to keep on giving us motivation, to keep on going. And that's what these James Gunn coaches don't like. They can't accept that. They don't like people like us. They don't like people like us saying it how it is. They don't like the real criticism. They want all that, like, oh, the fake blind criticism. They, oh, everybody's glazing on it. No, not me. I refuse to. I will not. I will not bend my knee, not even an inch, because it's not who I am. And that's what they want. They want us to crack in and give in and say, yeah, it's not going to happen. They just want to break hope. And hope is something that I refuse to give up. If Alfred told Batman in the Snyder Cut, faith, Alfred, I mean, when Batman told Alfred, faith, that's what we need and we have. Faith, endurance, and lots of hope. That's what's going to give us what we want in due time. The hope is that a studio is going to buy out WB. The faith is we know is going to happen. And the endurance is waiting out how long it takes. We used all three of those together symbolically. We were patient for the Snyder Cut. We knew it was going to happen. We had hope. And when we finally got it, that was faith that delivered that. All three of those, if you do not lose, you are unstoppable. And that's what they don't want. They don't want us to have all three of those. They want us to be weak at our weakest. And now is the time to be stronger while this is all going on. They know that the buyout is going to happen. We know that a buyout is it's already in the works. It's happening. There's no stopping it. It's happening. The moment is once we start seeing when we start seeing all these bids and offers coming left and right. And I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, once one studio, I don't care who it is, once one studio starts saying, yo, we're making this much, we offer you this much, you better believe it. They're gonna move so fast and they're gonna be like, look, Netflix just made a counter offer. Comcast just made another counter offer. Oh, Netflix made another counter offer. Oh, hold on. Amazon jumped in. What? Oh, okay, they made this counter offer on all three. Yo, just telling you that it's giving me the chills. And that's how I think is going to happen very soon. We're going to see these bids. If you've ever been in a bid, literally, it's like that. It's nuts. It's wild. If you ever been in any type of place that does bids, whether it's like car auctions on eBay or in person bids, or if you never been in one, watch Storage Wars. That's how bids go. They go down like that. Like they're interesting, but at the same time, they're all a risk. You have to remember that. Like that they're very very intense because everybody wants it. It's like Pokemon cards. Everybody wants it. I don't want it, but the ones that are in it, you get what I'm saying? They're all out there fighting for it until the person that's really willing to pay that price ends up getting it. And that's where things are going to happen. I'm telling you, my friends, we cannot give up. Faith, hope, and endurance. Those three things, I'm telling you, is going to get us the Snyder Cut. And there's still hope. Remember, because if you have Ben Affleck saying anything is possible, that's him telling you, picture Ben Affleck right now just talking to you, and he puts his hand on your shoulder and be like, dude, or girl, like lady, whatever, anything is possible. He's telling you, yo, anything is possible. Zack Snyder, imagine Zack Snyder just there, just chilling, talking with you and telling you, hey, as long as Netflix still wants it, yeah, I'm down. And remember, he said in SnyderCon when he said it with Ben Affleck, we're just waiting for the call from WB, and we'll be back. Zack and Ben wants to do The Dark Knight Returns. They're ready for it. They have not moved on. Not once have you heard Zack say that he's moved on. Not once have you heard Ben Affleck say that he's moved on. Not once have you heard Henry Gal say that they've moved on. Jason Momoa moved on, but we don't need Jason Momoa. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. And notice Henry Cavill just posted a picture where with his injury. That's another thing too I wanted to talk about. And Gal Gadot wished him a well recovery. She's like, "Hope you feel better" or something like that. Hell, even Zachary Levi jumped in and he's like, "I hope you feel better." And people are speculating from that. That's what I'm telling y'all. See what I'm saying? Like when it comes to like what James Gunn, and these toxic James Gunn cultists, they don't want that. They don't want us to be united. They want to see a crack and they want to divide us. But joke's on them because we are being more united than ever. And it makes me happy to see how many people on Twitter are using, and not only Twitter, on different social media, they're using more Restore the Snyderverse. And like I told y'all, it doesn't matter if Netflix buys them, it doesn't matter if Comcast buys them, it doesn't matter if hell, if my grandma wants to buy them. I don't care. The point is that wherever and whoever ends up acquiring WB and they bring back the Snyderverse, yes, that's a sale. But guess what it all falls under? The Snyderverse will be restored. And therefore, that falls under restoring the Snyderverse. That's our goal. That's what we need to be focused on. We need to keep on pushing that hashtag of restore the Snyderverse. Yes, Wallet's Close comes into play because we're not supporting what they're putting out. But the main goal we're all fighting for is for the return and the restoration of the Snyderverse. Once it's accomplished and we get it, and any studio that buys them out finally says, yo, we're going to back to what was working, that means that they're restoring. That's it. That's the done deal. We won and we will win. The same way that we won with the Snyder Cut, we're also going to win again with the restoration of the Snyderverse. With that being said, my friends, I want to thank y'all for watching. I know we went on a little bit longer, but we needed to. And, it's been interesting. It's been fun. And like I'm telling y'all, a lot of things are going to keep on shifting and changing from here until that buyout. Every week as we get closer, you're going to start hearing a lot of things. And we're going to start hearing a lot of rumors. People are going to be speculating, making up things. But don't be fooled. Just go by what the sources are putting out. Once we start hearing, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, all these official sites, like they end up talking about this regardless. We're gonna see what's gonna come from it, and every week we're gonna start hearing until they actually say, "Hey, look, the first bid has been made." But yeah. With that being said, I'm about to get going. Y'all tune in tomorrow. I'll probably come sometime tomorrow. Tomorrow Saturday and stuff like that. But enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, wherever you are around the world. And I'm gonna keep posted with y'all. Make sure to show your support. Get your copy of Rebel Defenders too. Show that support. Appreciate y'all for doing that also. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace out.